Hey everybody, good to see you here again at the Red Barn. With this being an episode on the Ferrari Swap 914, why am I showing you a Maserati engine and an LS-powered 914? Well, many of you are like, hey, come on, one project at a time. But what can I tell you? I've got more than one project going, and I am bouncing back and forth. But for those of you interested in the Ferrari build, the good news is this car is going to be going away for a little bit to have its interior done. And I am ordering a bunch of parts for the swap that are going to take weeks and weeks to get. So I'm not going to have any distractions to take me away from this bad boy. So let's get back on this and start making progress towards making this thing run. I swear to God, no, I'm very motivated, and it's going to be good that the LS car is going to be out of my life for just a little bit. So anyway, let's get back on this, shall we? Enjoy. I'm going to make a bulkhead and run bulkhead connectors down in here and just have a set of removable lines, because as you just saw, I wasn't thinking very well. I thought I was going to end up, like those would have been permanent in the car. And I don't think that's a long-term good solution. I want to be able to remove the fuel lines. At the very least, when I paint the car, the whole inside will get painted as well. And so now I'm going to remove these, I'm going to do the same thing, slice them out at the front, and bulkhead connector at the base of the firewall in the front, same thing. And then I'll just make a set of hard lines that live inside the car. And it's just a tidier solution. It's the same thing I did in the LS car. I should have just done it in the first place, but I'm doing it now. So anyway, let me get the rest of these out. That goes pretty quick. All right, now to make up some new ones. So the stuff I'm using is this Easy Bend, they call it. Comes in a coil, and so the first thing I got to do is straighten out a section, and I like using this thing. So I cut more than I need for the run that I have, just a quick measurement, and then you use this thing to straighten it out. And it works like that. You just roll it through here and then play with the tension on this. I got a nice straight piece of tube, and that makes quick work of it. You can try to do it by hand, but I can't get it to be perfectly straight. So pardon me while I get this end. Okay, so that's that. And that's nice and straight. As I mentioned, this is almost a straight shot. So the length of this is going between two fixed points. And, the whole idea of a nice straight piece is, you don't want it arcing. You don't want to have an unnecessary bend in it. And what I'm going to do is, because when you flare the ends of this for the AN fittings, you use some material. And if I want it to be a really nice fit, I need to know how much of that material is going to get used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a 3-inch section of this, and I'm going to do a flare on it, and then I'm going to measure how much is left. And then I'll know exactly, after I make the first flare, that one doesn't count, but as I need to measure to exactly where I want the other end flare to go, I'll know exactly where to place it so that the flare ends up right at the fitting. And now we're over here at the flaring tool. And the way this works is there are these dies, and these are 4 37-degree AN flares. They make another set of dies, for other kinds of flares, double bubbles, and all the other good stuff. And then this is a multi-operational tool. The way it works is you put your tubing in here, and basically set it in place. If I bring you around this side, it might be easier to see. You can see the tube is sticking through. So I'm going to just snug it a teeny bit so everything can still move. And then this is operation 0 that I'm on, and it's just a big flat. And what you do is you pull this across, and it locates both the tube and the die set in this jig, right? So that's sort of like the baseline home position. And with that in position, I can now lock this thing down so it can't move. And then it's a 2 operation. Here you can see I'm using 3/8 line. So I find the one that says op 1 for 3/8. Make sure that thing's snug down. And I just pull this handle until it goes no farther. And that's the first operation. And that reshapes the end of the flare such that when the second operation comes around, operation 2, it's going to push that back inside itself and create the 37-degree flare that mates up with the AN fitting. So here comes operation 2, and you pull that till it stops. And now if I release this, you can see that I have a nice flared tube. Now, I'm going to go measure this to see how much of the material it used, and now I'll know exactly where to make the flares when I need this to fit exactly how I want it to fit. I started off with 3 inches, and you can see it used 3/16. So I know that where I mark where I want it to end, I need an extra 3/16 so that this thing goes exactly where I want it to go on that fitting. So plus 3/16. And like I said, now I can do the first flare on my actual tube, and I don't need to worry about that measurement just yet. With that flare done, I just got the protractor out and measured the angle of where that tunnel base meets the firewall, and just copy that angle onto this tube in the right location. So I have the first bend. And now, always, 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 before you put the second flare on, put on the tube nuts, they're called. So the way that works is this goes towards the flare, so that goes on the end of the tube. And you always want to make sure you're thinking ahead, because let's just see how I did. These are sometimes tight, and this is the problem. See, I screwed up. It's not going to go around that corner. I screwed up. So I either have to unbend this or start over with a new piece of tube. Let's see what happens if I unbend it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I think I'm going to have to start over. Yep, because I'm not going to like that. Oh well, lesson learned. Okay, with that first flare done, it's now time to put on the hardware. Here you can see how it butts up against the end of that flare, and that supports the 37-degree inner part of that. And then the tube nut goes on, and then that's ready to go up against the bulkhead connector. Pretty tidy. I really like this stuff. So let's go fit this in the car now. Now forget that there's a bunch of wire mess in here for a second, but there's that bulkhead connector, and the tube comes nicely around the corner. Tried to follow that same angle. It runs all the way down inside the tunnel, and you can see it's going to go right through that hole there. And yes, I measured, and there's enough to make the flare once the bulkhead fitting's in. And this is the bulkhead fitting that's going to go in there. So it's a super sharp 90 that right off the firewall on the other side, it heads straight up, and I'll just remake that fuel line to get it up to the pressure regulator, and we'll be all set. And now neatness counts, because you can see what I've done here. I've got the bulkhead connectors fit in the new bulkhead panel. I made a new one. See that in just a second. But what I've done, I don't know if you can see that little Sharpie mark, but that little Sharpie mark is right where I want the flare to end. So as we know, I got to measure from that 3/16 out, and then make that flare, and then this line will be all done. And yes, it's connected at the front, so you can see I don't have a lot of room. There's a teeny bit of flex that you can get, but I can't make it too short, otherwise it just won't fit. Anyway, let me go make that flare. And yes, as a safety precaution, I've already got the tube sleeve and the tube nut on here and taped in place so I don't forget it before I make that flare. So now I'll go make the flare. All right, place your bets. Here we go. The flare is made. The tube is going in. We know one of these ends fits. All right, look at that. I'll take you down in there for the look. And that is nice and tightened on there. And you can see, these are the notch head line clamps, and I have them, and I think I'll probably use them because they're actually quite nice. And they hold these things really well. So I could have maybe made it that much shorter. It's got a teeny little arc in it. But that's going to work just fine. So now, same thing with this one. And then I just updated the brake. This is the clutch line up here. That's the brake line on the lower part. And this is the updated bulkhead panel. I still have to open that up a little bit more for the shift cables and come up with a seal for those. But anyway, there is the whole new setup. And you can see how much tidier that is, right? And these are not yet pinned down, but that's exactly what that's going to be. And then yes, because I can't help myself, I cut this off of its mount and change the angle so it matches the angle of that sensor as well. And then it soft lines up around the corner to the master cylinders, which I haven't sized yet, so those hoses aren't the correct size, but you can see how much tidier that is now. So that wraps up the inside fuel lines to the bulkhead. And now if we go under the car, so we've got the other side of the bulkheads. Hard to see, but I hope you can appreciate the wild ride. That's the clearance. I'm probably going to make a little tight guard to protect the fuel lines in case there's a problem with the belt. But anyway, there are the two fuel lines running up. So we have a pressure line and a return line. And then you can see on the bulkhead connector, or on the bulkhead panel rather, you've got, this is the brake T going to that side, that one goes to that side, and then you can barely see it back in there, but that's the clutch line that'll come onto there. So I'll have a hard line that goes up and gets most of the way around to the transmission. And then if we go onto the top of the car, there's the supply line and the return line coming into the fuel pressure regulator. The pressure gets set, monitored here, and then it runs off to, if I take you around here, you can see that's the supply line coming into the top. It drops down into this assembly where there's the fuel pressure sensor and this T that runs off to each side fuel rail. That just leaves the lines at the front of the car, and you can see this is the out from the fuel pump. It comes down, goes around there to the fuel filter, does a UE, comes back, and then goes into the pressure side of the line that you just saw. And that other fitting down there is still, I'm waiting for a 90-degree fitting, but that'll come back up, and that's the return line coming back up to the tank right beside this one. So I'm one line away from having all my fuel lines done. So that takes care of all the fluids, other than I still have to mount the master cylinder reservoirs and run those hoses down to the master cylinders. And here we are back at the secret undisclosed shop with the completely unnecessary, not going to help me get the car running work on making this valve cover, modifying it to get rid of these bosses because I don't want that many fasteners. And anyway, so what we did, as you saw, JB welded in some aluminum bolts, and we're here with Martin. Everybody say hi to Martin. There he is. And he is going to mill these down to just below. We're going to take it down to the surface underneath the powder coat or paint or whatever this stuff is, to see just how invisible we can make that interface between that bolt and the valve cover. So here we go. And there is the next phase complete. This is dead smooth. And you can see though, here you can see it's going to need that little bit of work done there. We got to then locate where the other one's going to go, the new boss, and we'll be all set. So there you go, a little bit of redo stuff and a little bit of unnecessary, not going to help me get the car started stuff, but you know, that's just the way I like to work on my projects. Anyway, I think at this point now, I really do have just a focus on really only what's left to get the thing running. So that's going to be my main focus. And like I said, with the LS car about to head out, I'm not going to have any more distractions for the next, I don't know, hopefully month. So it's going to be all focus on just the things I need to get this thing started, because that's going to be the major milestone. So anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging with me through some of this boring stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, and we'll talk to everybody again real soon. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.